Hello, fellow crafters. So today we're going to try something different. I've never really done this particular thing, um, but we're gonna try to figure this out. Well, it's not really a thing to figure out. We're gonna try to put it together. So my idea is that I want to use this to make backgrounds and then color in that background. Now, is it going to work? God, I hope so. But for sure, I'm going to need my Misty tool. My Misty tool is dirty, guys. My God. It has been through the ropes, okay? All right. So we're going to place this right in the center. And the reason why we're putting it in the center is because we want to be able to let, you know what? This paper is not straight. See that? I don't know if you guys caught one of my last videos, but I kind of explained how I brought my cards to FedEx and they did not cut them correctly, and this is all part of it. I'm so sorry, guys. So these would be my scraps. That's what I will use them for. These should be good. Good. All right. So yes, the reason why we are placing it in the middle is because we're going to do a lot of stamping off, right? Like off the sides to show that it's a continuous pattern. And today I'm going to use the Newton Nooks and Simon Says Stamp Design collaboration. This came out with this year's Stamptember release. They do not sell these anymore. If I'm not mistaken, these are sold out. Actually, September is over, so I don't think they're selling September products besides their normal release stuff. But these are from their limited edition. So what you have to know about it is that every year in September, Simon Says does this celebration, I guess you could say, called Stamptember. And during that time, they let a lot of releases out, and they'll have limited items, which are the collaborations. And once you buy them, once they sell out, excuse me, that's it. You're not going to find them again. So it's almost like if you're one of those card makers that's like me, who pretty much collects. I use them, but you know, in some ways I was afraid of purchasing just because I was thinking to myself, like, if I'm going to do YouTube videos, how are people going to use these items? What if they want it and they can't get it because it's sold out, right? Yeah, I thought about that. But these videos that we do is not just for the product. The video also should be giving some type of inspiration, right? So that is my hope, that you guys are going to get inspired. And there are many, many stamps out there that are very similar, and you might be able to create the same thing, or just the concept, utilize the concept. Okay. Awesome sauce. I want to do a little bit more there just because it doesn't seem like it really took well. So I'm just gonna ink, stamp, perfecto mundo. All right, now we're gonna wipe this down. I'm gonna use my Gina K Tidy towel, and I keep it in this little snap beware. And we're just gonna wipe this down. We're Make sure it's nice and clean. You may have to wet that towel again. And what we're gonna do is we're going to move it, okay? Sorry, I thought that was something on my page. So we already have that up there, so we don't want to put that in the same place, but maybe, is this low enough? I'm gonna have to move this paper up. So when you're moving the paper, just so that you don't mess up your project, just bend them back, lift it up, and that's it. Let's center this a little bit more. Well, maybe just lift it up a little bit more, not center necessarily, but all right. We're gonna put this down here. And then we have the cat over here. So maybe we can put it right here. And then the reindeer, of course, last but not least. Put it right over. We're actually gonna use the bottom of the reindeer only because I would like for this to fit right there. Now we could bring this down. And then we're also gonna put that here. That looks good. Make sure nothing moved. All right, awesome. Let's ink it up. And you can do this on color paper, color cardstock, or with color ink too. Oh, I need that. Don't be afraid to try things out like I'm doing right now. And slightly freaking out. Hold on. I am, as much as I love making these videos, I get anxiety with it. I get anxiety with card making. But it's weird, right? Because your hobby or something that you enjoy doing should not stress you out. But if you've heard my H2H or heart to heart segments, I talked the last one. I talked about anxiety and some of the struggles of dealing with it. I love crafting. Oh, I love it. I love card making. It's not necessarily the card making that stresses me out. I have just anxiety. I just have anxiety. And I'm also like, it has to be perfect. I'm one of those, right? It has to be perfect person. Here we go. I'm gonna play music for you guys and we're gonna start coloring, and I will try to remember to put the Copic marker colors numbers here so that you'll be able to see what colors I'm utilizing. There's a timestamp placed at the corner if you are not interested in the coloring phase. I will have some music on and let's get the coloring. Okay, so now I have this pattern paper that's from the next stamp that I'm going to die cut with my A2 layer dies from Waffle Flower. Now, this pattern paper may not be available. You might be able to find it at some online stores that may still keep them in stock. However, the website is, well, the company's closing down, and so they're no longer making any more of those pattern papers or dies that you may see. Now, I'm gonna let you guys know this was a whew, it was a stinker, okay? I actually had 3 other patterns and I had accidentally cut my my card panel that I designed my background on shorter than the size of the panel that I was going to mat it with. So, it happened 3 times. So, I ended up just cutting one down, and then I got it right. So I'm gonna add a sentiment in the front. I decided to use the Christmas with Joy. This is from Simon Says Stamp. It's called the Type Christmas, and you can find it on the Simon Says Stamp website. Now I'm lining the letters up with my ruler. That way I know that I am cutting both sides equal, and it helps to maintain a straight cut. I'm gonna cut the sides off a little bit just to kind of take away the excess paper that we have on the sides, because we really don't need that much wide of a sentiment. And I'm going to mat it against vellum paper. Now, the way that I did it is I took the vellum and I placed it behind my sentiment, and I went ahead and I cut around, well, I tried to cut it as straight as possible around the sentiment and created that vellum matted paper. Now, this was not too hard. I definitely recommend using the biggest size scissor that you have, and you want to make sure that you are maintaining that sentiment in the center of the vellum so that you don't cut crooked. But you're just going to mat the vellum with the sentiment, and help to create your vellum size as big or as little as you want it. So you can do a big square or you can do a very small border. But I definitely wanted that border to come out a little bit thicker than the average matted paper. So now I'm going to put some Barely Arts glue the back of my sentiment, place that on the vellum, center it so that it is kind of a focal area in the vellum, and it'll make sure that it does pop it out. And I'm going to use my tweezers to place the sentiment so that I don't get glue everywhere. Then I'm going to take some foam roll tape that I have. I'm not sure which brand this one is. It's between Scrapbook, or it is M3, I believe. No, M3 has the green in the back. I think it's from Scrapbook. It's most likely from Scrapbook. I have a lot of foam tape. So you saw that I placed it on top, and the reason why I placed it on top of the sentiment is to make sure that it was not too big, where I would place the foam tape, on top of the sentiment, and you could see it coming out in the outside. So it was perfect. It fit just in the middle of it, and I just cut a little piece and placed it on there. Piece was not big enough, unfortunately, so I just cut an additional piece and just went ahead and filled in the area. And because I don't want it to be wonky, and I don't want it to bend in that where the sentiment is, or bend the sentiment. So it was a lot easier to do it that way. Now I'm not gonna use a ruler. I'm honestly just going to remove the backing, and then I'm going to eyeball it and place it in the center of the card panel and make sure that it looks good, which it does. I think the other side's a little bit low. Let me just lift that up slightly. And there, that looks good. Okay, so we have that down. We're gonna push it down to make it permanent. And then we're going to go ahead and place glue behind this panel and glue it onto our pattern paper. And that's gonna give a very light border of snow. I thought about using red. Again, I did a huge oopsie when I was cutting my pattern paper and cut with the wrong dye, and so I had to choose a different pattern paper. But I think the blue definitely helps. It kind of matches with the scarf that I placed on the dog, or the reindeer, excuse me, the scarf that's on the reindeer. So it's a perfect mat. And then we're gonna have some fun with some sequences. Now, if you have seen my videos, you know me and sequences. I love them to death, but they drive me crazy. Reason is because I can never figure out the right spot to put the sentiment. I have a little cold, I apologize. I can never figure out the right spot to put the sentiment, and I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to figure it out. This is a lot better than last time. I did not take as long, but I'm going to let you know I did edit out where I had three other three other sequences out, and I was trying to figure out how to get that perfect mat. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out how to get that perfect pattern for the sequences. Guys, it was not fun. It was frustrating because it has to be in a perfect spot. It has to be, not covering too much, and but we figured it out. And this sequence I ultimately decided to use is the iridescent light turquoise, and this calls for confetti. That's what it's called. And that was it. That was the end of this card tutorial, and it came out beautiful. I love my background. I love that matted look behind it, and I think that sentiment being the size it is, it did not hide the work that we did in the background, and it looks beautiful. I definitely think you guys should try it, and don't be afraid to use any other sentiments. Lord. Don't be afraid to use any other stamps that you may have that can complete a background or make a background. You can make backgrounds with majority of the stamps that we own, right? So don't be afraid to try this technique out. Create your own pattern paper, color it the way you want to. And the best part is when you color your own pattern paper, you color your own design, you get to create the exact colors that you want to use in your card. That is the benefit of it. And here we have the finished card. I love how this card came out. This background is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It screams Christmas, and it's unique. I love how that background came out, and honestly, I can see myself doing this again. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification so that you will know when I put up new contents. I typically put up new contents every Friday, and then sometimes there will be some surprise videos that'll pop up in between.